What
I
do you guys
think we've
want to
already,
compare?
I think we've already stated most points
Yeah.
like throughout as we are talking about both the shows.
Yeah.
But I think the thing with Kimi no Nawa is it's this mystery and this suspense that you keep building up in the end, and we get rewarded with this. I don't know how rewarded Bro is with the ending, but you get rewarded with this really good like one line small moment ending, which makes it worth it. The whole it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But even though Tenki no Ko had a good ending and it had a lot of interesting things that happened throughout, and like even though they're the same themes of like the young love theme, of these teenagers like finding love from different places. He used the same concept of like city life to like country life, but in a different, more twisted way over here. But if you compare it, I think, yeah, that's what I would say. I think Kimi no Nawa had more of an impact because of the mystery and the
Yeah.
longing that the viewers had for the characters to meet each other.
Yeah.
Because over here, like in Tenki no Ko, it's just like it's like they love each other, but she has to sacrifice herself like for the greater cause,
Hmm.
Mhm.
which is a very impactful concept. But I don't think it's as impactful as the mystery that Kimi no
No,
Nawa had. If you talk
again,
about the base of the story.
I would disagree there and say that it would have maybe it could have even been more impactful than Kimi no Nawa if they had done it in a way, if they'd done it in a slightly different way. So I'll tell you one problem I think Weathering with You faced, that they couldn't do this as easily.
Mhm.
So in Kimi no Nawa, the reason we got so involved with the characters was that they switched bodies and they got that sense of comfort with each other very quickly. Because
Yeah,
if you're
that's true.
switching bodies, there are no secrets. You're just
Yeah,
gonna know everything. So
but also they never met each other.
yeah, but even though they never
Yeah.
met each other, they know so much and they're very comfortable with each
Mhm.
other. While
Mhm.
here, they had to establish a guy, and then they established the girl, and then they had to establish them coming together, and then doing stuff, it's getting closer, and then we start feeling for them.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that direction they took just really cut everything short. But if they had made them meet earlier on in the film, and at the half point of the film, she disappears, and the rest is all about how he's desperately trying different things to bring her back,
Hmm.
and then she comes back, I think would have fixed everything I found wrong with the film.
But wouldn't that be similar to Kimi no Nawa
I
then?
That was going to be my first point after you guys finished talking. I think both
Yeah.
movies are the same. They're the exact same. The names are different, the setting is different, but they're the same.
Hmm.
It's still that teenage love type of thing. It's still about how one guy and one girl want to make things work, but there is one sense of the supernatural.
Of course.
So the
Yeah.
base concept, it's like people seeing episode 4 of Star Wars, and then they went and saw episode 6.
Hmm. And
Wait,
they say it was
no, sorry, episode 3 of
five.
Star Wars. What am I?
Was it?
Four,
I don't remember.
four,
I'm not
four,
a Star
four
Wars
and
person.
seven, four and
Okay.
seven. Yeah,
Haha.
it was basically the same, right? They just changed all
Hmm.
the characters. So
True.
here it's again, it's the same. He's used the same concept, but he's made it in a completely different way, which is really good. I appreciate that. I don't have any problems with it, but they're the same. I think both stories are being compared so much, not only because they were one after the other, but also because they have so many of the same elements there. So it's easy
Uh,
to compare it, but I think it really stands up on its own.
would you say that the way they set up both the characters, would you say it's rather generic in the fairy tale sense of it all? Because even in fairy tales, they establish the hero, they establish the heroine, and then they kind of establish them meeting together, and the twist that goes to it, like a Cinderella sort of situation, right?
No, I think this was. I think the way the characters met was fine. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it
for one
wasn't
have never seen a
generic.
story where two characters meet and then they're like, "Hey, let's use your supernatural abilities to make money."
Yeah.
Like that's something I was genuinely surprised, because I really thought that he'll be like, "Oh, let's help people," or "Oh,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
do this, let's do that," and then this guy's like, "Let's make money." And I relate to that shit. I would love to do that too if I was there.
A more
Yeah, I
direct
think
interest.
it makes a lot of, yeah. I think the characters meet also in it wasn't generic, it was still like randomly meets her at a McDonald's and then sees her outside this district. The guy pulling her in and then
Yeah, and it's all
saves
in the
her.
same area, right? So it makes it
Yeah,
more
yeah,
believable.
exactly. It's like you encounter people in the same area more often, and since he was living there,
Yeah,
and
and
he remembers that good gesture, that he
yeah,
received at
exactly.
McDonald's. So yeah.
Yeah, because he even says it was the most delicious meal he's had in his life. because she gave
Exactly.
it to him for free. And they also show her brother in the bus, so they established it's all in the same area. That was really well done
Hmm.
at that
Oh
time as
yeah,
well.
exactly. I think he's done a pretty good job
Yeah,
at that, showing like this small world within this area in Tokyo.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. He's done a very good job with the whole
Hmm.
movie. Just that, just I just think that she came back too easily. That's the only thing. But I understand the time restrictions were most likely one of the biggest problems he faced because
Yeah.
they had to show so much in such a short amount of time. But I don't know, or maybe I would have even been happy if he had to go try to save her, and maybe he had to sacrifice something to get her back. Because another thing that rubbed me wrong was they said everything has a price, everything has a price, everything has a price. She paid the price, and went into the same place she was and came back without him having to do anything. So there should have been a price over there for him to pay.
Oh,
Because
but I didn't he. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to say he paid the price of like losing her, or so. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. I'm just thinking out loud
no, I'm
here.
saying if he has to go into the world that she is in
Oh
and he
yeah,
has to
okay,
save
up
her,
there. Ha ha ha. Yeah, yeah.
he also needs to pay a price to enter that world and exit it.
Hmm.
There's no way he should just be able to jump in and jump out like, yep, you know that Rick and Morty quick adventure, 5 minutes, jump in and
Power
out.
of love, apparently.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah.
But it,
that's the only point I found bad. Like I didn't like it too much. I thought it could have been done
they
better,
never
but
established the price. Yeah.
Yeah.
otherwise it was really really good. I really liked it. It was
Mm.
on the level of Kimi no Nawa. I still think I have a soft spot for Kimi no Nawa because of the Radwimps songs, because of all this time I've already invested into it, and because they didn't get closure.
Which you like but
Yeah.
hate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just really salty that these two got closure in this movie. It's unfair. That's all.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes
I
sense.
know,
I
right?
think it's cool. Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. Like, do you think they say that the Weather Maiden is meant for one particular village or one city or one country? Was
Hmm.
that the limit of her power? One country? Because they sometimes showed in some scenes that there would be a spot of light in a very large chunk of the city, and around it there would just still be darkness.
Yeah, that's what
Was
they
one,
said, that she can only
Yeah.
bring light for like a short while in a specific location.
but then
So
there was
she has to give
once.
herself up completely for her to bring back the weather to normal in.
I know. But then there was one scene where she stands on top of the building. She
Yeah,
uses her power, and
yeah.
I think almost the whole city just gets.
No, no, they never show the whole city getting lit. They always show
Yeah.
a part of the city getting lit.
It's
Are you
always
sure?
local, Adi. Like such traditions and customs, like something we do in India, like we pray to Ganesh, or like Indra does something, it won't cause a storm in Japan, because such beliefs are always local, So it's not country based ever, as you said. It's always local,
Because
and it always happened around her. Like even if you see the scene where she goes to Taki's grandmother's
Yeah, yeah,
house,
yeah,
yeah, it's only in that area, and you see the whole place, covered
yeah.
in clouds. Yeah.
in that scene on top of the building, right? I was noticing this, and like when I first noticed it, obviously it meant that the clouds were clearing out in that one spot. But in that on that building scene, the clouds had cleared out till the end of the ocean. Like the sun was setting at the time, and there were no clouds as far as the eye could see. So I figured, she pulled some OP ass move where she just prayed to the sun god and shit, and the whole city just got sunlight. And I
Yeah,
thought,
I think the
there
city
was.
got sunlight only after she gave herself up, when she sacrificed herself.
So does she give like a chunk of herself? The more she gives, the more
Yeah,
sunlight.
that's what I'm saying. They didn't show that properly. See, that's why the audience is confused, because they didn't show it well enough. They should have shown it in a way that they're like, okay, she's giving up parts of herself.
We just know that she can get sunlight, but we just don't know what that price was.
Hmm. No, but even the old like priest talks about it, right? He talks about the sacrifice that the
Yeah, it just says
chosen
human
lady has to make.
sacrifice. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we knew something was coming, but
yeah.
yeah,
I I could predict that easily. I mean, I'm saying the
yeah,
story itself was not like so it wasn't some genius new concept. It was a
yeah.
concept that was well executed. But
Hmm.
is that if they had shown her losing small parts of herself, and you start thinking it's okay, it gives you that sense of it's fine. We know where it
Yeah.
is. It's going to be fine. And then she opens her robe and she's like, surprise, motherfucker, no torso. And
Yeah.
then you're like, excuse me, what the fuck? What the fuck just happened? It was on her arm. And there were like five
Yeah.
spots. What happened? So
I
I think
think
that
I think
part could have just been done.
they could have just shown like those some of those fish just floating around, like one or two fish floating around at the start.
Man,
Then
they'll just make it seem like she's being stalked by some
no,
I
intergalactic
know,
but
right?
creature of
but
some
it's not
sort.
floating around continuously. Obviously, like every now and then there'll just be one fish. Then every now and then there'll be more fish coming in, and then all of a sudden like half our body is water all of a sudden, and that
Man,
maybe that would have helped the impact.
I'm just imagining with their first kiss and the fish is just a. You know, the-
That is weird. Audie, no, don't go there.
But yeah.
I think it was good without the fish. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And also also now, Sid, you might not like this. I thought one more place where I think it didn't really go high enough when according to Kimi no Nawa is the weather itself. I think Kimi no Nawa had a lot more shots showing a lot more visuals that were striking, like the meteors falling and the where they fell, the crater, the mountains, all of that made for better frame composites. The frames look much better here. There were a lot of different frames, there were a lot of different things that look good, but I feel like Kimino Nawa just did it a touch better, except
Yeah, but
for
that's,
one thing, except for the fireworks show.
yeah, of course.
Holy shit, that fireworks show blew my
That was
mind,
amazing.
because
No,
I was trying to figure out how I would do it with all the 3D software
yeah.
available, and I was like, this is going to be a pain in the ass to make. And then he 2D drew everything out. That is just crazy.
He used a lot of CG and 3D for that scene
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. That itself was crazy. That
Yeah.
scene made me go, wow.
Hmm. No, the thing is, about the weather thing. What you're saying makes sense, but also because the sky here is always cloudy and covered. It's
Yeah,
always gray.
yeah,
So I think because of that, you didn't have such, because the skies over there, you can almost see space and
yeah,
meteors
yeah,
in
yeah.
Kimi no Nawa. So you can't. I don't. The weather, like, I think he animated the rain in like a crazy
Yeah,
way.
the
If you
rain
see
was
the rain,
animated really
it was
well.
like
Yeah, I agree.
mind blowing. And I think you didn't have the same impact with the skies because of the concept of the film where it's always cloudy and always covered. It's always
Yeah,
gray and dull.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about the weather. I'm just saying the frame composition was much better in Kimi no Nawa because of all the potential that it had.
No, but even if you see the first scene where she's looking out the hospital window
Yeah,
and you see the gray sky with these like little holes of light
yeah,
falling,
yeah, yeah.
that looks beautiful. That's an
I'm
amazing
agreeing. I'm
scene.
not saying it did look
Yeah,
beautiful. I'm
yeah,
just saying Kimi no Nawa
yeah.
had a lot more of those. There were a lot more beautiful
Of
frames
course.
that you can appreciate rather than Tenki no
Hmm.
Ko.
Yeah, I think that
like
makes
like
sense.
even when they show the first shot of the shrine, that is beautiful. When she first
Yeah.
goes to the shrine, I was like, wow, that's amazing. So there are a lot of good looking shots in the movie, just not to the same level, I guess.
Mhm.